Rush Limbaugh. So he is going to talk to a caller about how the Democratic Party has an addiction problem like he does. Interesting. Now, that part is fun already, but as you listen to this clip, listen to how much he's projecting what he wants, what the conservative movement wants, what the Republicans want onto the Democratic Party. Let's listen in.
This is Jane in Dallas. Great to have you on the program, Jane.
Hi, how are you?
Fine and dandy, thank you.
Okay, I was driving home from lunch with my husband, and he said to me, Jane, what do the Democrats want? They own the car industry. They don't want us to go to college. What do they want? At the end of this, what do they want? They're going to have all the power, and what do they want?
What inspired this? Is it because even though they've got all this, they don't seem happy?
They don't seem happy. When is enough going to be enough?
Well, I've addressed this on several occasions. This is why the Republicans can never win by crossing the aisle and meeting them halfway, because no matter what you give them, it's never enough.
Well, when they have all our money, when they have everything, are they going to live in a different country? Are they going to move out of here? I mean, what do they...
No, what they want is power. I know this sounds easy to say. Have you ever... I'm not trying to pry, but the answer to this question is I think it's almost required to understand their quest for power. Have you ever had a genuine addiction to anything?
I don't. Not really.
Well, I have. And I have, and let me tell you about it. It makes you entirely unreasonable and irrational. It is all you care about. Nothing else matters, no matter how important to you otherwise. It doesn't matter as much as the addiction. Feeding it, the fear of not being able to, is what animates your existence every day. These people are addicted to power because they think it is their birthright. And I'm not just talking about the people in Washington, elected officials. I'm talking about some of, not all, but some of the rank and file, madcap, insane liberals that you will find blogging, that you will find emailing, that you will find on the protest march. Their lives are basically meaningless. The addiction to power and dominance and control is what drives them. And the thing about an addiction is, it can never be satisfied. There is never a day where you say, all right, because you have to feed it every day. Anything that stands in the way of the addiction requires your attention to overcome, to get around, to somehow take care of. So you say, they have the car companies now, and they've got the House, and they've got the White House, and they've got the Senate, and they've got most of the state houses, and in California they've got a Republican who is a liberal. They're getting gay marriage, and they're no happier. They don't seem like they're satisfied with any of the progress. They have debauched our culture. They have made perversion standard operating procedure, and they're not happy.
But after they destroy our country, where's their power?
What do addicts do? They destroy themselves. They do. They destroy themselves, and they destroy the things that are most important to them.
Well, they're doing a good job.
But we're trying to understand irrational people as we come at it from a rationality. Since they can't be happy, they will never peacefully coexist with their opposition. They have to be defeated.
I love that ending. We're trying to understand irrational people, like perhaps Jane in Dallas, who started the conversation by saying, the Democrats don't want us to go to college. I would argue that the Democrats very badly want you to go to college and get educated. And it's the Republicans who every day talk about, those guys in the Ivy League towers, those liberal professors. What do they know? They don't know any facts. Well, let's get to the heart of it. I mean, classic, perfect case of projection. All they want is power. and they don't care how they get it, etc., etc. To give you a small example, I can give you about 100 of these, but I think this elucidates the matter fairly accurately. What George W. Bush did was he would sign signing statements at the end of legislation. So, hey, nice piece of legislation passed by Congress. Now here's what I really think it means, and I'm not really going to listen to that. Now, that is accruing power in the executive branch, saying, hey, you know what Congress says is not that relevant. The executive branch decides what gets done and doesn't get done. As soon as Obama got into power, he said, I will not do those type of signing statements, and I will comply with what Congress passed to the letter of the law. So you see, that's Obama giving away executive power, whereas Bush and Cheney were trying to gain and grab more power. So what do the Republicans do? Since they're dying for power, they have a thirst for power, and that's what drives them, they say, oh, no. The Democrats want more power, even though the facts are diametrically opposed to that. And then, of course, you get into the great projection and hypocrisy of they have debauched our culture with their perversions. Then, Rush, why did you go to Honduras with a barrel full of Viagra? No, but I'm asking a literal question. Like, what were you doing in Honduras because when he came back, they caught him with an obscene quantity of Viagra. So what was happening there? I hope it wasn't debauchery or perversion. I know you didn't have any of that, and you're a good Christian, and you're, respectful of God, and that's why you would never get divorced. Oh, right, except the 3 times I believe you got divorced. Except for that, you're on top of it, right? And then he says, look, they eventually destroy themselves with their quest for power, for their addiction. Rush Limbaugh, anybody? Anybody at all? Well, the one thing I'll give him credit for is he did kind of confess it in the beginning. He said, I know, because this is what I do. It's true. He does know. It is what he does. It's what he does on a regular basis, whether it's the drugs, whether it's whatever he's doing down in Honduras, or his whole ideology and his whole talk show.